According to the developers, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild occurs somewhere on the series' timeline. Which specific branch of the timeline and its exact date is up for debate, but Hyrule is obviously quite ancient. However, you really wouldn't need the official timeline to know this. The game makes it clear that the land of Hyrule is very, very old, both through the scenery and through the story. But if you pay attention as you play, you might notice a few locations that look a little familiar, perhaps even remnants of what Hyrule used to be. There are a lot of these, but I'm going to go over just a few of my favorites. There are of course recurring locations like Kakariko Village, Zora's Domain, etc., but I'm going to be focusing on ruins or hints of what used to be just as they were in previous Zelda games. Also, I want to be clear that these theories could absolutely be disproven. These ideas are just for fun, and what I've thought makes the most sense in a game that can be pretty confusing. There are definitely details that don't quite add up, but that's okay. With any luck, Nintendo will fill in the missing and confusing details in future games. First off, we have the obvious choice, the Temple of Time, but there's a bit more to this that I'll get into later. We can see that the Temple of Time looks quite a bit like its appearance in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, but it looks a lot worse. The majority of the left portion of the building is completely ruined. You can get a nice view of the outdoors though. At the very least, the temple is still standing and is sure to bring back memories for those who played Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess. But it's not so much the Temple of Time itself that piqued my interest, but the area surrounding it. The Great Plateau is the starting location in Breath of the Wild, and also serves as the home of the Temple of Time. We can see remnants of paved areas, buildings, and stairs surrounding the temple. In Ocarina of Time, the Temple of Time was just outside of Castletown, a marketplace located next to Hyrule Castle. Here we can see plenty of buildings in an area paved in stone, and a very similar pattern seen in Ocarina of Time as Castletown. This by itself might seem obvious, this is most likely the Castletown that we explored in Ocarina. But the dead giveaway is the fountain that can be found in this paved area, the centerpiece of Castletown in Ocarina. The next location relies somewhat on the idea that Breath of the Wild occurs at the end of the Child timeline, in which the Sacred Realm is protected, and the events of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask occur. This leads up to The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, where Hyrule Castle appears to have been relocated from its original resting place near the Temple of Time. A new Castletown was constructed to go along with the new castle, and it's this that leads us to Breath of the Wild's Hyrule Castle in Castletown. Breath of the Wild's once again ruined Castletown is swarming with guardians, but if you can make your way past them, you might recognize this fountain. The fountain looks very similar to the one present in Twilight Princess's Castletown, which seems to suggest that the two are one and the same. This would also hint that Breath of the Wild's Hyrule Castle is at the very least nearby where the castle is in Twilight Princess. There are a few issues with this idea, since the Temple of Time appears to be almost completely ruined in Twilight Princess. That conflicts with the Temple of Time being in much better shape in Breath of the Wild, which doesn't make much sense if it takes place after Twilight Princess. This video could go on forever if we talk about the timeline. It's probably best to move on. Next up is Lon Lon Ranch, the possible remains of which can be found in Breath of the Wild as the Ranch Ruins. These ruins look very similar to the layout of Lon Lon Ranch in Ocarina of Time. In fact, let's take a look at a few comparisons. This could be a simple reference to Lon Lon Ranch or the original location of the ranch itself, but either way it's a really nice callback. There are so many recurring locations and locations named after people and places in Zelda throughout Breath of the Wild. I encourage you to explore them all yourself if you have the chance. Little details like this are one of the reasons I enjoy Breath of the Wild so much, and one small part in what makes a very unique game. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to tune into the next video for Week of the Wild.